Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. I'm Danny Flores, your host, and today's honored guest is Tammy Phan, zooming in from Irvine. Tammy founded the online luxury resale platform where consumers can shop, sell, rent, and restore authentic designer handbags and accessories all in one place. As someone who is a high school dropout and grew up poor to immigrant parents, it has always been a dream to own something luxurious since she never grew up around it. Her journey began at a young age, determined to have a taste of luxury and prove her parents wrong. That success didn't mean she had to become a doctor or an engineer like all of her cousins. Driven by passion and led by a relentless pursuit to prove she could make a change in the designer luxury resale industry and break out of the mold set by her parents. Today, she continues to drive growth, innovation, inspire young entrepreneurs, and advocate for the more inclusive and substantial fashion industry. She believes everyone deserves a little bit of luxury and should pave their own path to happiness and success. Welcome, Tammy.
Thank you, Danny. I'm so excited to be here to inspire
Yes,
other Orange County entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs.
absolutely, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got there.
Yeah, so what I do is everything. I am a firefighter, technically, because I'm putting out fires every single day. I don't get a break, and entrepreneurs will know this. I live, breathe, and sleep my business. That's the pro and the con of it. And what I do on a regular basis is I oversee the team because I'm really involved in my business. I am trying to develop and disrupt the luxury resale industry. So, always finding innovative ways now, especially with AI, to drive innovation through the designer luxury world. How can I make buying, selling, renting designer luxury, authentic designer luxury more easy, more fun, and something that is more helpful and convenient to our clients because I am that ideal client. So that's kind of what I do on a nutshell at Luxe du Jour. And then I also have a passion project. I'm not sure if you know this, Danny, but in Orange County, I also opened up a boba franchise just in Costa Mesa. So when I tell you that I'm constantly trying to add stress to my life, that is also what I do. I like to add stress to my life.
Wow, that is right. That is adding stress, and congratulations on your new venture here.
Thank you. Yeah, so that is called the Moon Tea House, pronounced Tea Moon. And yeah, I don't know what I got myself into. I really thought that I could manage it all and be the superwoman trying to be the CEO of Luxe du Jour, a designer luxury resale industry. We're actually in the midst of raising our Series B round right now too, so you can only imagine the chaos. And then I have a passion project that just started 6 months ago. The Moon Tea Shop just opened 6 months ago. And I'm trying to manage that. And then I also have to manage two little kids under 10 years old. And yeah, I'm just barely just figuring it out, being a firefighter and trying to be superwoman at the same time.
Yeah, no, it looks like you're doing it because just the kids alone take a lot of time to figure it out and work with them and raise them.
It is. When I tell you which job is harder, being a CEO, being a small startup business owner, or being a mom is harder. I'd rather be the CEO of a startup company all day long, if I wanted the easier route. Yeah.
Right, right. But here's the thing, you're taking all three of them on at the same time.
Because I'm psychotic. Danny. I think something in my brain was like, you know what? We love this stress. Let's see what else we could add on, and let's see how far we go with it. So I think
Yeah.
not, I don't recommend it. It's not for the faint of heart, and it's not for the weak for sure, because I'm honestly surprised that my mental health is actually still really, it's really well.
That that's good. That's good. But let's go back to the beginning of your of Lux du Jour. How okay, so you dropped out of high school and you had no idea what to do, but look at what you did. How what's that thought process? And how did you learn? How did you become resourceful to put it up? And then your website is amazing. And so and you have all these models and you're doing so many great things just in that business alone. So give us a little bit of insight.
Yeah, thank you for all that compliment. But really how it started is I think anyone who grows up poor has to learn how to be resourceful. So where the resourcefulness came from was really being given limited resources to work with.
Hmm.
And I think also another thing growing up Asian as well, if other cultures can relate, my parents were very hard on me. My parents were never proud of me. They were nothing I could do was good enough. But the petty in me or the drive in me that really wanted to prove them wrong
Hmm.
and also really wanted me to kind of break them out of that mold and out of that thought process of thinking that their kids are never good enough unless they are also an astronaut, they got an MBA, they are also a doctor, and they read 50 books in a day. Like that is the epiphany of what maybe my parents kind of expected on us. So they were really hard and they had very high expectations for us, but I never lived up to it. I couldn't even come close to it. So growing up, when I dropped out of school, it was because I needed to get a job. And my parents growing up poor is I wanted to self-sustain myself. There were some financial issues amongst our family that I really wanted to just self-sustain myself so that it was one less child my parents had to worry about. However,
Hmm.
that was obviously not part of their plan because they care about face. They wanted me to focus on school, study school, and be really great in school so that I could set up a successful future for myself. However, I was just thinking about what can I do now to solve the problem now. And as a big sister, I am the oldest in my family. We call it the
Hmm.
big sibling syndrome, where you're the project manager. You're actually the mom of the rest of the kids. And I have two younger
Hmm.
brothers. So when I saw this financial problem in my family, I thought the best solution to that was I'm going to drop out of high school, start working, start making money right away, and sustain myself. Use that money to pay off certain debts, and use that money to for myself. So I was one less person my parents could worry about, right?
Hmm.
And that's what I did. And so I started working at 14 years old, and that is kind of where it started to be resourceful. And eventually when I got my first designer bag, for example, it was a cheap bag at the time. It was
Hmm.
only $1,500. It was a Louis Vuitton Berkeley bag. That was the spark of when my interest started to peak around designer luxury, and I started learning about designer luxury because I started learning about just luxury in general because it was always a
Hmm.
milestone of mine. And I think that's what kept me
Hmm.
going. I was like, wow, I love this. I really want, Steve Harvey said something very similar. He's like, if you want to ever try first class, go fly first class one time in your life. And when you have a taste of that luxury, you never want to go back. So you're
Hmm.
going to figure out what you have to do to get and always afford first class. And that was almost like what it was like for me at a young age, buying my first designer luxury bag. I was like, I love this. I like this lifestyle. I want to have this type of lifestyle. So I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get there. And all the odds were against me. Come on, growing up poor, not having a high school diploma. I'm like, I don't know how the heck I'm ever going to have this lifestyle, but I'm going to figure it out because two things drove me. It was the purpose in life and what I wanted, and then to prove my parents wrong.
Right. So that negativity just fueled that fire inside of you and say, you know what? I'm going to do it.
It is. And sometimes they say it's like haters should motivate you. They shouldn't break you.
Right.
If you have haters, and I don't want to reference my parents are haters, they just had such high expectations or were never proud and happy of what I did. So in my in my head at a young age, you kind of correlate that with, hey, they kind of hate me, but I got to make them love me. So everything I did was for them to be proud of me and wanting them to love me.
Right. No, that's amazing. Now, as you start piecing it together, because I think your objective is to be able to help everybody else that has that same dream to be able to have access to these luxury handbags. Is that correct?
Yes, that's on a smaller scale because I do want to help women get access to luxury because not the fake stuff, because I always say this, it's when you buy fake designer items, you are only trying to impress other people. But when you buy authentic designer items, you are actually impressing yourself because it's like the milestone. It's you know what you paid for, you know that you reached that milestone, and you know you're truly that is the luxury you wanted for your life, instead of pretending, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I do want authentic designer luxury to be affordable to people because I know what that milestone was like for me. I felt like I accomplished much and I loved it. And I loved the resale value of certain brands that people never believed. Designer bags. My husband at the time did not believe that designer bags could have been an investment until it outpaced his own real estate portfolio. And now he's all about it.
Right. Well, now he sees the results, right?
Yeah.
So that is great. So now as you are yeah, as you've established that company, are there bigger dreams or bigger sites on other items that not just the handbags that you can incorporate and make accessible to other people?
Yeah, you know what's funny is I hope my story, why I say making designer luxury more affordable and accessible to everyone because it helps them just like it helped me reach the
Hmm.
milestone is I think the bigger plan is I hope my story inspires and I help other entrepreneurs to pave their own path to success.
Hmm.
And it doesn't have to be designer luxury. Not everyone loves designer luxury and materialistic things, but they have a certain passion. Maybe that's through luxury cars, maybe that's through luxury homes, maybe that's through luxury vacations, but we cannot deny that everyone wants a little piece of luxury in their life, right? So I hope that my story kind of helps people discover not only their passion, but their own path to happiness and what that looks like. Because for me to break out of the trauma of my childhood and to make something out of it now that my parents are retired, it is so fulfilling to me. And I live life with such purpose now, waking up to knowing that, wow, I am making designer luxury more accessible and affordable to people. And I'm also inspiring, and I hope that one day I will exit Luxe du Jour and be able to help other entrepreneurs discover their own path to success because the odds were 100% against me.
Hmm.
No one in my whole family, and I have 14 aunts and uncles on one side, and I have 11 aunts and
Oh,
uncles on my other side. So I have a
that's
lot of cousins, and not
right.
a single one of them is an entrepreneur.
So now that everybody knows what you're doing and your parents know what you're doing, what does everybody say now?
Oh, this is also the problem with Asian parents just never being happy enough. My parents are happy and proud of me that now that I helped them retire, and of course my aunts and uncles are so proud of me. And now my cousins all look up to me and talk to me and ask me for advice. But my parents now focus in on me not being a good mother. They're like, look at you. Why are you constantly keep building? Like, you do not need that much money. You do not need to keep building this company. You need to stop now and you need to focus on being a mother. Otherwise, you are a bad mom. That is now. another chapter that I need to prove my parents wrong again.
Right.
Because
Right.
I'm trying to balance this superwoman, super mom life to again go into the cycle of making my parents happy. But I'm determined, Danny. I'm determined. I will show them that I can do
See,
it.
see that, Tammy, that's a great attitude where you're taking, say, the naysayers, which in this case are your parents, and you're saying, okay, I'm going to focus on proving them wrong. And in doing so, one, you focused on proving them wrong because of you, so you came out a winner. Two, now you have your children to focus on, and because of your resourcefulness, you'll be able to make them winners as well and make your parents proud again.
Yes, and that's why I know words hurt certain people, but you have to understand life will throw you lemons. Okay. It's
Yeah.
how you deal with those lemons matter the most. So whenever I know my parents come from a completely different generation, I don't
Mhm.
hold it against them for the
Mm-mm.
way they think, the way they treat me. I love them still. I still want to make sure they're happy, they're retired. Even though they're not happy with me yet, I'm gonna prove to them and I take that and I'm just gonna be better. So I take what I hear from the haters. I'm going to be better. It's okay. I can't control what other people think or do, right? I can only
Never.
control what I do and think. So that's why I'm going to be better and I'm going to prove them. And that's what I did. I started delegating. I started hiring a team. I started managing my time better. I time blocked so that I could spend a lot of time also with my kids, but not also neglect my companies and my business.
So that's really powerful what you just said. You're delegating,
Mhm.
but you don't have a college education that teaches you all of that. How are you learning that? How are you learning how to build your organizational structure and what you need and what's going to help your business operate efficiently so that you have this extra time?
Oh, three things, Danny. Here's the cheat code. Here's the blueprint that will make your life so much easier. So first, it is the free resources on YouTube before is I typed in anything I wanted to learn. If I wanted to learn delegating, I would type into YouTube how to delegate and what are the best books to read on delegating. The second is I read and listen to audibles all the time. I have free mentors that are out there that I don't even need to pay that I listen to and look up to. For example, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell is a book
Hmm.
that I read in order to learn how to buy back my time. And then now third, this what a time to be alive when ChatGPT is here. I feel bad for my parents and all the generations that did not have the pleasure of using AI. AI truly saved my life because I'm telling you, in if you have the best inputs, prompts for ChatGPT. For example, I use ChatGPT and I say, act as a world-class delegator and CEO trying to manage X, Y, and Z. Here is my current calendar. I want you to delegate anything that is under $50 an hour task and find me the strategy on how to delegate and who to find these perfect people for the right positions to operate and excel in these tasks and which task I need to be focusing on that would drive the needle forward or move the needle forward. Like that's an example of a prompt I use.
Hmm.
And the better your prompt and feeding ChatGPT, the better output you're gonna get. So those three things is what taught me everything I needed to know and how to manage my life accordingly. So it's all about working smarter and not harder. And the one thing that, even though I didn't spend 4 or 5 years in school, I think I learned way more on my own than school could have ever taught me because I
Yeah.
focused in on what I wanted to learn.
Yeah, because you're like, yes, you're zoned in exactly what you need, not other things that you might not never use actually.
Yeah, Danny, like, look, I'm happy to learn the mitochondria of a plant cell, but I rather learn about how to do taxes, to be honest,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like, so school's teaching me, yeah, that's fun stuff, but
Yeah.
I really needed to laser in on certain things I needed to learn for myself.
So what's the trick to creating these efficient prompts for Chat GPT?
So so TikTok is one of them. And because I'm on TikTok, I'm on social media often because it's my business is also social media forward. So we're always looking for trends. The algorithm is so great. Once you like a video on TikTok, and so I love my algorithm is all entrepreneurial stuff, business stuff, mentorship stuff, and AI stuff. So TikTok knows that, so it always feeds me that. So I get free advice from TikTokers about best use of prompts. And the trick and the formula is always tell ChatGPT what role do you want him to play today, or him or her, right? And what is the outcome you are looking for? Be so specific. Be so specific about your problem in detail, and then be so specific about the tone, yeah, you pretty much have to tell it who, what, where, when, how is pretty much what
Okay.
you do in your prompt. Do not just ask him, help me delegate. Do you know what I mean? You see how that
Right.
is a completely different prompt than act as a world-class delegator CEO running a designer luxury company, XYZ, and then you tell them all its problems. And then you tell
Mhm.
it, now help me delegate, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's the specifics you need to get into.
Now, are you using any AI automations to, I guess, alleviate the fact of having to hire people?
Oh, absolutely. We're even building our own AI automation tool in our app to help quote. So that is to help automate quoting. So, for example, Danny, you know that we are a buy sell marketplace, a platform, not a marketplace, but a platform. So, when you want to sell your Rolex watch, you can submit a quote and you'll get a quote within one day. What we're building is an automation, a pricing tool that can price it within almost instantly. So, that's an example. There's other automation tools that I know customer service uses for AI agents to help get the client the help that they need
Hmm.
faster. There's also social media AI automation that helps reply to DMs to make sure they get to where they need to go, or to help any customers that might need more human assistance. We never want to remove the full human aspect
Hmm.
because we
Hmm.
are in designer luxury, but we want to make sure that clients have the resources to get the help they need faster and resolved. So there is a lot of automation tools.
And so in your business model, are you guys buying these luxury items and then reselling them, or does somebody post what they have and then they get sold?
No, yeah. So they have to, all items have to be sent into Lux du Jour because we inspect, authenticate, and then process and upload onto our website. So we are not a eBay marketplace. We are not Poshmark marketplace. We are actually a luxury resale platform where we actually have the items in our possessions.
Now, and you guys also rent them, is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So somebody either has a big party, they want a certain handbag, or they want to travel and they want to travel with a certain handbag, they can rent it, then they can send it back to you guys and kind of never having to buy it. I guess it saves them money in a sense.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised. It's the wealthy people who rent actually because they have a special event that they might need that yellow Chanel bag, and it's not worth it to invest $10,000 into one yellow Chanel bag that you might not use again. And then there's a demographic that wants to constantly switch up their style often, over and over again. And in order to be able to switch up your style often, you need to have maybe $200,000 tied up in your wardrobe so that you could match every purse with every bag. Every bag with every outfit, right? So we kind of help solve that problem. And then there's also the clientele that wants to try it before you buy it. Can you imagine trying to buy a $20,000 or a $10,000 bag without being able to see if it fits your lifestyle? Like, why are we able to test drive cars before committing thousands of dollars to it, but we can't test out designer bags that we might want to see if it fits all our stuff? Will it hurt our shoulder? Will it pair nicely? Will it be functional for my lifestyle? So we have those three main demographics. That's why they rent. It's solving those three problems.
That's amazing. And that seems like something that the marketplace didn't have, right? So you're
Yeah,
filling in this hole that you came up with an idea that suits the marketplace.
100%.
Now, what do you have for men?
When we don't have a huge selection, sorry, Danny, but
I
you're
know we don't
welcome.
use handbags.
We do have a selection of watches as
Uh-huh.
well as travel, like the Louis Vuitton duffel bags, Supreme collection that men really love, and wallets. But we don't have a huge men's collection. Our majority of our shoppers and clientele are women.
Okay, makes sense because women are the ones that use the handbags and men we're simple, right? We get out and we don't need to carry anything.
Yeah.
Now tell me a little bit more of how the boba shop came about. Thinking about it, agreeing to build it and do it and opening it up.
Yeah, don't jump into passion projects right away without a clear understanding. That's what I would say. So the reason why I opened up this and owned this boba franchise, it's originated in Canada. And I drank this almost every day. Their coffee was amazing. Their matcha was amazing. And the boba drinks were amazing that when I had to move to Irvine, California, because I secured investment, I was on Shark Tank, the Canada version of Shark Tank, secured investment to expand Lux du Jour into the US. Then I was like, you know what would work really well here and would do really well here? That boba shop that I almost drank at every single day. So I asked my friend who owned the master franchise brand, and I said, hey, why don't you sell me the master franchise rights for California? And I will open up a shop there, and then I'll start opening up more shops after and sell the franchises, right? She was 100% on board because I built up Lux du Jour. So I
Hmm.
have that expertise in marketing and I have that expertise in building up a startup. So she was all on board with it. And that's how I opened it up. It took me 16 months to build. That if you went into that place, Danny, the place is gorgeous. It is so Newport vibe worthy that I spent so much time and money into it. I spent almost $500,000 into that passion project.
Tell us the address for our audience to hear if they're in the area, and most of my guests are actually from Orange County. So, and they
Yeah.
listen. So, what's the address to the boba shop so that
It's
we can get out there?
It's right next to Plum's Cafe, iconic. So right on 17th Street. It's 369 East 17th Street in Costa Mesa, right next to the Crumble Cookie in the same plaza as the Crumble Cookie, right next to Plum's Cafe, a very iconic Plum's Cafe that everyone goes to. And our spot used to be the famous, it's Mongolian restaurant that
Hmm.
every local knew and loved. It was there for 30 years, and now the owner of the Mongolian place comes and gets coffee every day, and I have the pleasure of seeing and talking to her. She
Wow,
loves what
amazing.
we've done to the place.
So let's give Tammy a support and head out to the boba shop, get some coffee or some boba.
Or get some bags from Lux du Jour.
There you go. There you go. Yes, yes, for sure. Now, in building your companies, sometimes, and one of the key components is having capital. And as entrepreneurs, we don't always have access to capital that we need and to do the projects that we want to pursue. So, how did you go about securing capital and getting the money together to start these enterprises?
So Lux du Jour, because how it started was zero capital down because it was consignment at first. So Danny, at the time, if you wanted to sell your designer bag with us, you had to send it in. I would authenticate it, I would list it, I would market it, and only when sold, then you get paid, Danny, and I take a commission.
Hmm.
So I built up that platform through a zero capital startup and built a huge community through Lux du Jour that ended up bankrolling I built up a huge bankroll because I was successful at selling all of these clients' designer bags and taking a very competitive small commission, cheaper than Poshmark. Okay. We were taking a 15% commission just to sell your designer items. So I started with zero capital, essentially with Luxe du Jour, and I was just selling off my own designer bag collection and my friend's bag collection. That's how the platform started. We started solely on Instagram, and I was just listing my closet, my friend's closets on there. So we had our own little mini boutique to start. And
Right.
because I added so much value to the community and I kept giving them advice, tips on how to spot fakes, how to spot scammers, and which bags that they should buy and invest in. My first Chanel bag that I bought for $5,000 at the time, Canadian, that's around 3,500 USD. I sold it 4 years after for $1,000 profit. A used bag.
Wow.
I made $1,000 off of it.
So they go up in value.
They go up in value. You got to follow Luxe du Jour on Instagram to learn more about that. People doesn't believe me.
Right, right. So even the guys can get involved, right? They can start making all these investments in bags and then just, I mean, we're not going to use them, so they'll be brand new, right? A year later, 2 years
Exactly.
later, you resell them for more money.
You know what's funny, Danny? I try to ask my husband, can he buy me this Hermes Himalayan Birkin? And it was $140,000 at the time. And he's like, no way. No way you are not carrying no $140,000 bag on your arm in Calgary. I was living in Calgary back in my hometown at the time. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll buy it myself. So I bought it myself. And 2 years later, I realized it's a croc, white ombre, gray, beautiful Hermes Birkin. I knew the investment value in that. 2 years later, I realized I really can't carry this around anywhere in Calgary. Calgary is like the Idaho of the States here, just for
Okay.
reference, right? It's a
Yeah.
very small town. There's not much going on. There's no really fashion, right?
Right.
And so 2 years later, I want to go sell it. I listed it on Luxe du Jour for $180,000 and it sold within 5 minutes. And now they're selling for around $200,000. So if
How would your husband say about that kind of a profit?
I made $40,000 on that bag. And now my husband was like, "Oh, if you want any more Hermes Himalayan Birkins, let me know."
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. So they do. You just have to know which bags to invest in, and there's certain brands and styles that actually go up in value.
No, that's so interesting. Yes, and that's kind of like some of the Rolex watches and some of the other watches that we wear. That you buy them and then all of a sudden they cost more later on, a few years
Exactly.
later. So that is awesome. And so then that is congratulations on what you've accomplished so far and so quick, right? And so as we wrap up our interview, what do the next 6 to 12 months look like for you?
Wow, the next 6 to 12 months is gonna look hectic as usual, but hopefully we'll be able to close our Series B round with a new investor added, so that we could again scale. We really want to focus on our technology and focus on improving the platform to be better for our clients. We're essentially turning it into, actually, that's a secret. So maybe if we have another follow-up interview podcast, then I can spill those secrets. But that it is going to be a very chaotic next 6 to 12 months, Danny. So
All good things happening.
yes,
Yes.
hopefully.
So stay tuned because we do a follow-up here. You'll find out what the real secrets are.
Yay. Thank you,
A-
Danny.
And so thanks so much for your time, Tammy, and all the insights and your story because that's super powerful. Just being able to think of something and pursue it relentlessly and being able to get there without the resources. So that just goes to show you that anything can be accomplished here in the States. And so if somebody that's listening and wanted to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you?
If they want to get a hold of me, they definitely can reach out to my work Instagram, luxdujour.tammy. I'm not actively on there all the time, but it is the best way to directly contact me. But of course, follow our main Instagram page at Luxe du Jour, LuxeDujour, because I frequently post content on there giving, again, advice, value to our community, and I would love for them to see me on there.
That is awesome. Thank you so much once again for coming on the show. And to our listeners, please go to ocpowerplayers.com and follow us on your favorite channel. Thanks so much, Tammy.
Thank you, Danny.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.